Good morning to your listeners and those who are watching us online as well.
I hope you're well.
I am Mo, Senna. I am.
Great. Let's start from, in fact, Wednesday there was a presidential encounter with the media.
Mhm.
Subsequent to that, let's start from the one issue that people have taken an issue with. It has to do with the response to the question, why would you not declare a state of emergency in the fight against Galamsey? Have you been listening to the feedback of people saying no, they are not satisfied with the response to that question? And what is your response?
Very well. Thank you for the question. Yes, you are right indeed. The issue of Galamsey continues to be a topical matter. It will be for a long time. As a government, we recognize that. And we recognize that not only from a political lens, but from an existential lens. Because all of us who are truly conscientious and love this country, some of us have never seen real gold in our life. We are not the beneficiary of any illegal gold activity or any galamsey activity. We don't engage in it. And so our passion for the environment and the protection of our environment, as the president himself has communicated severally, because from day one, the issue of galamsey has been top priority on his agenda at all government meetings. In fact, his best and brightest were put at the various ministries, Defense for Omani, then the Honorable Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Interior Minister, because of his intention to bring a solution to this complex problem that was exacerbated as a result of government actions in the past, administration. The liberalization of the licensing regime opened up the forest to companies that did not have the technology to mine responsibly and sustainably. That is also a fact. But the emotive issue around Galamsey makes any other explanation of the processes, because nobody would expect the recovery of a water body, the recovery of a forest reserve to be an event other than the process. So perhaps there are genuine people, apart from the new patriotic party that is engaged in politicking and propaganda, but who we all know have really lost the moral high ground. Because in their case, as I sought to explain yesterday, we had arrived at the point where the conditions and complicities then led to the conclusion by all well-meaning Ghanaians, the activists, the CLs and the CSOs, political parties, including the NDC. And we can't run away from that, and we are not running away from that. We all added our voice to the calls that the LI 2462 should be repealed because of the problematic provisions that allow the president to continue to be signing off leases and licenses to corporate companies to go into the forest reserve. That became the watershed movement that opened up the forest to small-scale miners, some of whom did not have, Akunta mining was into political assigns. And also because that happened, it opened up the forest to more illegal activity. Since January to date, the president has removed his power to be able to do that, grant anybody leave to go into the forest reserves. Media Foundation published a list of companies that were granted licenses even after December 7th, when the NPP realized they had lost the election. So, yes, it's a heightened emotional space. Perhaps not the time to take people through why we got to where we got to and how recovery will be a process. And so we take the feedback with all the seriousness that it deserves. His Excellency is reviewing continuously on a daily basis. Actions that require to be relooked at are being looked at. Even as we amended the LI 2462, the calls were that we still need to take it all out. So the president said, AG, go and review the Minerals and Mining Act. Propose key amendments that have found expression in the LI. Let us amend the Minerals and Mining Act, which is the parent law. And so upon the laying of the proposed amendments and the passing of same, we will then have to remove the LI and then lay it with something more stronger, more punitive, as the advocates. That is a listening government. You see, I'm saying that we must not reduce all politicians to self-seeking politicians. Because one of the problems with the previous administration was what its own members came to say was complicity. Its Minister of Environment, who came to say that he was being frustrated from the highest level, so the presidency names were mentioned. We don't have those same conditions. So when I refer conditions, we don't have the conditions of presidential or presidency complicity. We don't have that. We don't have the condition of a minister for land, of environment, or the key ministers and heads of departments supposed to work together. We don't have the condition where they are today at cross purposes, fighting each other or trading accusations of complicity. We don't have those existing conditions today. And it is important that leadership remains sacrosanct. Otherwise, we will not succeed. And I'm saying that if we begin, touch wood, astaghfirullah, we don't want to get there. If we begin to have those signs, then we can now say that there's a problem. But for now, at least, leadership is committed, and leadership is not being tainted with complicity. This government and its Attorney General has had to announce investigations targeting some members of its own administration. One which the president himself has directed that if any of you go and find yourself engaged in these illegal activities, and this includes members who may be fronting for New Patriotic Party people who have brought in excavators, fronting to go and clear those excavators. We are caught that the law will deal with you because your greedy actions will not be allowed to sink the boat. You see, some of us are supposed to communicate government action. And I, as an activist, also encourage continuous advocacy because power, as it is, can corrupt. It is if we continue putting fire under the bottom of leaders that they will shudder to do that which will cost them their future electoral fortunes. So may we as NDC members not do things that will cost us electoral fortunes. May we work with the president's vision and overcome the need for quick riches and expose those who have been the real enemies of the state so that we can recover this environment. That is the position of the president. It is an urgent matter in his heart, an urgent matter in his mind, an urgent matter that he is working with his ministers to put in the processes. Look, this excavator situation, as far back as August 25th, Port and Harbors issued a public announcement that a decongestion activity was going to be taking place, where movements of excavators that had not been granted permits to be cleared were going to be taken to military installations. for safe storage to decongest the port. 200, 250 excavators cannot have come into the country in a matter of a couple of months. Many of them had been imported. Remember that Minerals Commission issued licenses in the dying embers of the previous administration. So those people who took those licenses had imported excavators into this country. And now the regulation by the Honorable Transport Minister Lipi, if you don't show proof of why you have brought the excavator, you will not be granted permits to, and this was announced as far back in March when the president spoke on his 120-day promise. So Joy FM cannot come out 2 days ago and say they have uncovered unusual imports of excavators, or that they have uncovered clandestine ninth movement of excavators. How do you want heavy equipment to be moved during the day with this traffic congestion? All they had to do was to call the transport minister, and he would have given them a response of what is happening. Because for 2 weeks, he was receiving daily reports of the numbers of excavators that were being moved. Now, big mining corporations have the right to bring their heavy equipment on their legal concessions. The Chamber of Mines, what is the man's name, who has always also been talking for this Galamsey fight? His name just escaped me.
Is it Kenashigbe?
Kenashigbe has conceded that even they had to go through a rigorous, his members, a rigorous process to receive permits to clear their excavators for their legal concessions. Contractors. So if you are a contractor, you have to show that you are a contractor, you have this contract, and you have imported this thing for this contract before you get the permit to clear your excavator. Those that have not been cleared are those that the individuals cannot show the proof. So those have been kept. Now, the root cause is to ensure that no excavator even comes to our shore without the permit. And so all the shipping companies have been directed same. That is the second leg of this regulation. Number one, you cannot clear it if it has already come to our shores and it's sitting in our port without evidence of what you're going to use that excavator for. Number two, you are not allowed as a shipping company to bring into our country any excavator without permit. Without permit. If you do that, you will not be allowed to, bring the excavator into the shore. You would have to take it back. So these regulations require strict enforcement, and we must advocate for that. We must enforce it strictly. Because the problem is a hydra-headed problem. The leadership complicity is at number one. Because with it, the fight has already failed. Without complicity, we retain some level of authenticity.
You're saying that once this complicity, because talk about the conditions that were there under the former administration not being there. We talk about complicity, ministers clashing, among others. You're saying that once these things do not exist, you believe you can follow these processes and succeed?
Senna, we can see, once these conditions don't exist. So I was not referring to the Galamsey condition. The Galamsey condition is there for all of us to see. Even though we have started the Tree for Life, those forests that have been reclaimed and those lands that were cleared, we have started the Tree for Life replanting initiative and the Blue Water Guard for those water bodies that have now been protected from ongoing and continuous illegal mining. The chemicals are now being procured to try to regenerate life into those water bodies. That is the process. In the meantime, people are still doing illegal activities You go and evacuate, and then the next minute the geosensing um, technology will show activity in another nearby, location, and all of that. So the point is to ramp up activity of 9 months. Ramp up activity of 9 months. If it does get to the point where we now need to be more um, frontal and transparent with what is happening in the forest, then we'll take the cameras to the forest and then you would actually see what is happening. But please, let us communicate our deep, deep sensitivity and respect to those who are concerned. We will not run away from it. No, we accept the feedback. We accept the demands for more. Because at the heart of those demands is that we want to protect our water bodies. Because that is the survival for all of us. So please, just bear with the president a little bit and let him go through some of these initial, rollouts. We'll do the assessment as he's doing continuously. And when we need to now put in more fire, we do more fire. But in the meantime, the media needs to also help us to ramp up the public education, the mindset, the various stakeholders, the chiefs, the community, the young people, that they should not sell their future for pittance, no matter how valuable the money in their hand is now. It is not sustainable. It will finish. Mining and that kind of mining is not a sustainable source of income. A more sustainable source of income is if young people find themselves in education, they find themselves in training, they find themselves in apprenticeship programs, they find themselves in jobs, dignified jobs. That will earn them a sustainable upkeep. Sometimes not in the volumes of money that they receive when they go and devastate vast amounts and get some small ounces of gold. Not. But that money that you think you have today will not see you through your life. And you cannot go back to the environment to destroy, to be able to sustain whatever, lifestyle you are meant to. So the thing about the district is to ensure that all children of school going age should be in school. We shouldn't see any child, because once we get the children into the pit and they also begin to see money, what they call money, then school becomes a disincentive. So it is the district that must also enforce strictly the educational policy. No child of school children age, especially of free senior high school, should be seen in any Galamsey pit alongside any adults or on by themselves. This is how wide the work is. And we all need to put our shoulders to the wheel and do it. If there's a way in which we communicate that is offending some, right-meaning Ghanaians, please, let me take your medium to apologize to that. But we don't mean to deceive. We mean to just bring to bear what we are doing. If you feel it's not enough, we hear you. And the president would ensure that we continue to increase action on the anti-Galamsey fight.
Well, interesting, because there are still, like you said, what is your specific response to the matter of the declaration of a state of emergency? Are you saying you do not need it now?
Again, at the at the risk of being misconstrued again, I'll still do what my work entails. I have said in my previous commitment that as soon as the president and all the various committees working arrive at a decision that this is the time to do the declaration, it will be done. As soon as. they arrive at that decision, it will be communicated. In the meantime, perhaps we now need to start the conversation. Media, you can help us. Let's take the law around the declaration, the provisions around the declaration of state of emergency. What is state of emergency? What does it entail? How should citizens behave? Let's start the preparatory activities by educating the public to become well aware of what they should expect in a state of emergency. Increased military presence in those communities, increased patrol, increased activity, increased no-nonsense approach, some curfews, many arrests for breaches of the curfews, and all of that. So please help us from Monday. You start the conversation about what is in a state of a state of emergency. When we declare a state of emergency for fighting Galamsey, what will it entail? What activity should be on the ground? It will still include the seizure of excavators in illegal sites. It will still include the deployment of task force made up of heavy military, armed military. It would still include some of the scenes we see in the communities where members of NIMO's joint military and other agencies attempt to go into some communities to stop illegal activity, and the response from the youth in those communities. A state of emergency will require the military on the ground to take action. Proportionate, disproportionate. So please, let's start the public education. I think that is what we need now. This is the general call, right? Let us start the public education of what it will entail.
Okay.
So immediately, the president and his advisors decide that this is the time. The people would already have been primed to understand and to know what to expect, how to behave, how to relate to the increasing presence of military who would be there to stop a menace.
That's
and
fair.
What potential collateral might be. So please help us do that public education.
Well, that's fair. Let me conclude then by asking you the feedback you're getting from especially the encounter.
It's been overwhelmingly positive. It's been overwhelming positive on the whole. The only issue is with this Galamsey that we are speaking about. But otherwise, the flow of the event, the ambience of the event, the legitimacy and the authenticity, everybody knows that the president opened himself up completely to the people of Ghana, and rightly so, because this is who he is. He carries a vision, and he wants you to follow the journey with him. So he opened himself up completely. The Minister of Government Communications, the Deputy Chief of Staff, the Honorable Felix Tandobe, and the entire organizing team was completely open to a genuine encounter. It was never procured, as you could see, with the questions that came, the people who were called to speak, opening it up so that regional journalists can join in online. But for some technical problems, a few had, we would have had more questions. It reflected the diversity of our media space. And this time around, great commendations also goes to the media, because the questions were intelligent, they were spot on, and they were also expectedly difficult, in some of those questions. So the media also did a professional job. So this time, you did not see the public bashing you people for going there to comment people's shoes and shirts and laugh and clap and do things like that. So the media also deserves commendation for taking their work very seriously. And the president also took the media seriously. We took a number, over 25 or so questions were taken in the 4 rounds, and the president indeed showed a very deep understanding and knowledge of the inner workings of his administration, and that is good. We haven't seen that in the previous administration. I mean, they tried to do 1 or 2 media engagement and quickly realized that they could not sustain the heat of accountability, and they abandoned it. So sometimes when we see these things, we must see the value they bring. It should come naturally to every democracy, but it isn't. Some leaders would choose to leave the real principles of good governance, accountability, and transparency. Others would decide that they don't owe you, the citizens, any interaction or encounter. The president has been consistent from the time that he worked with Evans Atamelt, his boss, who himself was very open to the Ghanaian media. The president continued in his first term in office. He continued even whilst in opposition, leading the way. It was after President Mahama met the media, after incessant calls for Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia to also meet the media, that forced the hand of Bawumia then to also, do a media encounter. And so the president is merely acting in line with his own personal principles. And as a communicator, he knows the importance of speaking directly to the people. He would continue it.
And as a spokesperson, was there a point, because you described some of the questions as difficult, was there a point where for a moment you were wondering how your boss was going to handle a particular question?
There were many.
Many?
So as there were a number. There were a number. You are there. But I'm not going to repeat those questions so that next time you people will go and say it again because you say that I said it's a difficult question. But as a young communicator, when I was listening to to those questions, I would tell myself, oh my God, how am I going to answer this if I was the president? How will I have? So, I mean, the president continued to teach all of us. He continued to teach all of us, and we are all in awe of his grasp for issues and communicating things without escalating or de-escalating any situation. There were a few, but he walked the storm very smoothly and beautifully.
And I've asked this question before. How do you speak on behalf of someone like President John Dramani Mahama? Do you ever feel you are qualified enough whenever you listen to him respond to questions in this manner?
That's why I'm saying that every day we learn. So and the confidence he reposes, because he started this work very early, from an assemblyman to deputy minister to minister to a vice president, he knows the power of experience and longevity and member of parliament. He's done it for so long that he knows that when you give young people with potential opportunities early, it's only going to make them better leaders tomorrow. You see, so sometimes people don't understand his confidence, the confidence he reposes in young people. He doesn't repose that confidence because he believes that we are experts. He reposes that confidence because he sees potential and he sees a willingness on the side of those young people to learn, to recover from their mistakes, their courage to walk through difficulty, and to be resilient, even when you make mistakes. You see how I was bashed yesterday. But what that kind of bashing, what hasn't my boss gone through? So you think I will get up today, then instead I will stop speaking. If you do that, the enemies have won. And the thing about resilience is, and character building is, when you're a blacksmith, you must forge it in fire. So it's only experience that will teach you. And you don't read experience in books. You listen to people's experience, you watch how they manage things, but you must go through it. You go through it with continuous encounter You go through it. You go through the experience with activity, not theory. Because all of a sudden, I would listen to a theory, but I would never know how I will feel at the point that I'm going through the same thing. What will be my emotional state? How will be my emotional response? So I can say that, oh, when full soldiers call you, be calm. And Omani will tell you, if you cannot help, don't hurt. Until you get up one day and somebody has called you 80 times when you have told the person you're in a workshop. And then your patience is at the tip of your nose. That's when you know whether you are learning, whether you are growing. Do you understand it? So those experiences are truly vital. Some of this work you do, you are better today than you were when you started. And that's how life is. It's the experience of it. It is the willingness to put yourself through the meal that makes you a better person, a better presenter, a better communicator. And when you have mentors to look up to, it helps you shape your own journey. So that's why His Excellency does what he does. And that's why we are truly grateful at the opportunity that he gives to young people to grow, like he also had to grow. And today we say that he is one of, in fact, he's the best presidential communicator, best communicator we have had in a president in the history of our politics.
Well, interesting. Congratulations.
So you're enjoying my interview. You don't
no. Just that when you said that, I was thinking that then you are starting from Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh, Nkrumah was in the world of his own. But okay. Even then,
yes.
If you compare the now to then, in terms of the changing face of our society, you know, you can say that the president is in a similar status as Kwame Nkrumah in terms of communication.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, and congratulations to you, your boss, and your the Jubilee House on a well-organized and coordinated event.
We thank you very much.
Yes, and Juma Mubarak.
Juma Mubarak, my brother.
That's Shamima Muslim Hajia, Deputy Presidential Spokesperson, join us on the line to conclude today's show. Today's show, the one thing that I can't forget is what SM has said there. Untumi Mata is still very funny. There's one person whose arrest by the police is turning out to be quite some drama. Abronye. Quite interesting. But anyway, it's back to school season, and CompuGhana is back with the best deals for students. This is the perfect opportunity for all students to get ahead. CompuGhana is giving you amazing prices on laptops, mobile phones, printers, and all tech essentials you'll need this year. Don't just go back to school. Get ahead. From now until September 21st, visit any CompuGhana showroom and enjoy incredible special student discount deals. We are talking top global brands like HP, Lenovo, Dell, Samsung, LG, Tecno, Infinix, Itel, Huawei, and more. You can get a powerful, reliable laptop for as low as 3,500 Ghana cedis. 3,500 Ghana cedis to tackle all your projects and research. Stay connected with the latest mobile phones and boost your learning with must-have accessories. The best deals are waiting for you. Rush to any CompuGhana showroom now or shop from anywhere on their online store at www.compughana.com. Got questions? Give them a call on 0302 752 020 or WhatsApp them on 0243 143 143. SM.
Yo. Ene fiada bema bia hia fuso amem powder ne bi natural herbal medicine eboa bema bia wono osi oni atenka watenka na te kokra nti no ye de takrakra nu asomu a wono onte hwe ai sanso na bema bia na ho de ne wo fom bema ono no de frɛ no eye early ejaculation no ha ne papa sebi ohu oba asisi akikra abehu ana waye de ensese oye na saa time no ana se odie no weak erection obema ne mu emu ayemremremre se bia kontomra kagya no wohia fuso amem powder ne betimi aboa oye pa OPB etimi ato a Achimota St. John CFC bus stop ben Ecobank no obenya bi eho Medina for momfo ani chemu ewo Kunadepa Heba adjacent Medina Old Melcom Tema Monko Little George Health Shop ewo Community 5 Africa so for Mr. Momfo ani chemu ewo Modern Heba same building with Farmer Trust Pharmacy Accra Central so no Okanshi Drug Lane Thank You Pharmacy na Plaza den mu obenya bi ato ewo ho ubetimi akwa abefo ntintan kese no so www.fusuamenpowder.com no akọ kenkan sem dodo na e de afa Fusua Men Powder no ho obetimi afre 0244 017 097 0244 017 097 and I say 0552 812 912 0552 812 912 Fusua Men Powder was he being charged in the inner room. Any fear that Mr. Memo be nadao, Memo be frail, oh, phone say, no, kita too sure. And I say 5 numbers or the brown wa payment. But cho Mr. Wa, and they say no cophobia and on Facebook, WhatsApp, and our face, no other social media platforms. Say, well, no more more NLE. And I say NLE for cry na small more, National Lottery Authority in 24 na small more. One more register and crop, one more register we are. One more Jessica credit if you want to feel we are, one more too sure, too direct. Nene ude guso, Mr. NLE4 Emma leaked winning numbers. The B. Name on AB a one on an anonymous swan diet. And I say, who can number B? Now, fat now, the big can kaboom ye be free moi. Na all the gusu na say a badia and NLE4 so material. Name say NLE4 mount. Numbers a palm say DJ Kofi didn't trap. And if you date never could gusu dear, the B omunyasa da. Aye, intimisro will be frewa. My winning now says every abo one stay alert, don't be scammed. And play responsibly. Ubetimi Afre NLE customer service helpline no 0266 087 966 0266 087 966 and I say 0266 087 946 0266 087 946 NLE Mpuntu dinam agudi ensem eso.
Well, before we go, once again, a happy birthday to Alassana Suhini, Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Deputy Minister for Roads and Highway, Alaska. Please show that picture.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a happy birthday to Madam Mariam Abdul Hamid. Madam Mariam Abdul Hamid, that's her face. SM, you see this woman? If there's a language,
okay,
that you want to figure out, if she does not already understand it, let's say put her in, just let her live with the people for 1 week.
Oh, now soon you sharp, sir.
I tell you, she speaks many languages. She speaks ever with me. She's never been to the Volta region before. All she had was ever tenants. That's all. You want to learn? Well, a happy